you have a boy and a girl, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, having kids who are black or mixed or however society...
Beige.
Beige. You know, when you look at like the young boys that have been killed by police.
Yeah, man.
And you see what's happened. Do you think once you had a black son, that really started to really hit you a lot harder? Because at one point, he's going to be driving a car by himself. He's going to get pulled over by the police.
Yeah.
And you have to think, how is he going to handle that situation to walk away from it?
I ain't gonna front. Like, obviously, you know, my children in dealing with the police will have different relationships like than the average person. You know what I mean? I always feel like it's my job to establish normalcy in my kids, but they're not normal. I know that shit. He's gonna experience an officer not giving a shit who he is, calling him
right.
boy, roughing him around at some point in his life. And that does concern me a great deal. But ultimately, when it comes down to it, I say this to my son. I said this to my younger brothers, to cats that I still rock with when I go to the hood and talk to them. It's all about respect at the end of the day. And that's where shit normally goes wrong, because someone is not respecting someone else in that situation. Whether it's the officer not respecting the person that is supposedly committing a crime, or vice versa. But if you carry yourself with the utmost respect, if you carry yourself like a king and you demand respect in a way that they feel that energy and that frequency from the moment they step up to you, how you look, how you walk, the terms you use, knowing the law, knowing and saying it in a way that they understand that you're calling them by officer such and such, badge number such and such and such and such. Sir, I comply with what you're saying. Do you have, knowing all of the right things to say, they're gonna deal with you differently than if you just say, man, well, what the fuck you pull me over for? Oh, I fucking cops. It's so, once you respect yourself, and it goes back to reconditioning that mindset, it goes back to building yourself up. That's the only power we have, is that education, is that knowledge, because then they gotta deal, they can't just deal with you like you just some regular old nigga. They were like, oh, he knows something. He's carrying himself in a different manner than I'm used to. And that's all I can teach my son. That's all I can hope, is that I can infuse and input that mentality of like, yo, you're a king, you're royalty, you're brilliant, you're great. You're gonna take things beyond where I have taken them.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at what's happening to young black boys, you know, between the Trayvon Martins and, you know, all the other incidents that have happened over the last few years, I mean, do you think that things are getting worse with the police, or do you think there's just more cameras around?
It's more cameras, and it's always been that way. That's the issue that I'm being honest. It's modern day eugenics. It's always been around. From Trump becoming president and him wanting to build walls and get rid of people, eugenics. Privatized prisons, eugenics. Making sure that there's sterilization clinics and population control clinics in our communities, eugenics. Putting everything from diseases to horrible foods to liquor in our communities to make us, to control us. And we're gonna quarantine you guys over here, let you die off, move you out, because now you're gone, and build condos and call it gentrification. It's been that way. But now, because the overseers are being caught on camera, now it's like, before they hid it. They were like, oh, we can't, no, this isn't. But now everybody's seeing it, is being brought to light. But this has been going on for years, man. This is the system. They think that we are less than. That's the bottom line. It's documented. Whether it's Darwin, whether it's the Rockefellers, whether it's Carnegie, all of these people think that African Americans, Latinos, anything other than Anglo-Saxons, anything other than the elite, anything other than European blood, they feel like all of those people are beneath them. And therefore, they're going to treat them like they're beneath them until we stand up and show them that we're not beneath them.
I mean, you do see a rise in like the Ku Klux Klan presence in America right now.
But it's been that way.
It's been that way, but it seems more in your face right now.
Yeah,
like,
because Trump is in office. They feel like they got them
right.
one.
And this is what I'm talking about. For example, like we reported on a story that MCA from the Beastie Boys, he has a memorial park in Brooklyn, and there were swastikas painted in the park.
Yeah, and the thing, the swastika necessarily, that was not they took that. The Nazis took that. That wasn't a negative sign. They took that and turned
But these days, it's a pretty negative.
It's a horrible sign now, but that's what I'm saying. It's that idea. It's mind control. It's programming. It's always been there, Vlad. It ain't never going away. But
right now, it's out there. And the thing that bothers me is that Trump doesn't seem to denounce these groups that are celebrating.
Because he's the leader. He's rocking with them.
Wait, so you're saying that Trump is the leader of the Ku Klux Klan?
Not the Ku Klux Klan. He's the top dog of the free world right now. And if we're getting into how his mentality is, and him, he has that mindset that it's documented in his books that he's on top. He wants to put his name everywhere. He's above certain people. And that mentality for some reason, that's become the American dream, to be on top, opposed to everybody enjoying a great life. And so when people who have believed this all the time, that they are superior, whether it's the white nationalists, whatever, when they feel like, yo, we got one, the guy who thinks how I think, of course, I'm going to be out. I'm going to be a little bit more bold. It's funny. My new stand-up special I'm shooting for Showtime, I talk about that. I talk about how they bold now. They dancing out there like we was dancing when Obama was elected. Because when Obama was elected, we was partying. We was happy. That was something to be proud. I was proud to see a black man in the White House. That's the most amazing first family I've ever seen. So in the same way, you see all of these dudes like Sherman and all these dudes coming out, the white nationalists, they proud. That look like they daddy in the White House. They daddy hair was fucked up like Donald's. They daddy suit was oversized like Donald's. Like they can relate to that, so they happy and they sticking their chest out.
Well, Praz from the Fugees, he was at my house.
I got introduced to this super PAC called Black Men Vote, and it was, like I said, to go trying to register black men to go and vote. And so I donated the money to the super PAC.
I mean, you're someone who's made a lot of money and who's invested his money and so forth, but 1.2 million is still a very significant amount. Why did you decide to put so much of your own money into the Obama campaign?
Because I believed in the cause, and I also I had the money to do it. You know what I mean? But I felt like instead of go buy another watch, let me do something that's going to affect my life and my children's life and everyone else's life.
Did he really? Because, again, because I know as someone who has donated to people and stuff, there's a cap of a certain amount. I think.
Well, he donated to a super PAC.
Oh, okay, got you. Because I was like, there's laws against that shit. You can go to jail. You give somebody too much money.
He donated to a Democratic super PAC, which in turn
got it. That's dope.
Money, to like some swing states where Obama ended up winning and so forth. But, we were talking about how when you look at like the '60s, you only had a few black millionaires. You had Muhammad Ali, you had Harry Belafonte.
People I look up to.
You had Sidney Poitier.
Yep.
There's a small handful, but all of them.
Paul Robeson.
What's that?
I said Paul Robeson. He was the OG of all of them. He was the guy who inspired Malcolm X and all of those cats.
Okay.
Yeah.
But when you look at those groups of people, most of them ended up banding together and kind of fighting against social injustice. You fast forward to 2016, 2017, you have a lot of black millionaires. But only a very small percentage are actually speaking out.
That's interesting, too.
Why do you think that is?
It's funny. Well, one, Harry Belafonte pulled me aside years ago and said, I'm passing you the torch. It's documented as well. We did an interview, I believe it was on Stars at the time. We had to sit down man to man for like 2 hours. I got a chance to, and I learned so much from that brother, man. The fact that he did so many things. He was the cornerstone in the civil rights movement, financially and introduced John F. Kennedy, Martin Luther King, all type of stuff. Like, and people don't even know, like, Harry Belafonte was the first person to ever go platinum. You know what I mean? With the the banana song, Dayo. You know what I mean? So the million.
Okay,
like,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, people didn't know that. So like, and you know, everything from the Tonys on Broadway to just amazing. But he said, what are you? That's what he asked me. He said, what are you? I'm like, what you mean? I'm an entertainer. He's like, you ain't an entertainer. He's like, that's too broad. What are you? I'm a black man. You know, like, but he got to my core to really say, to get me to understand that I am a steward of our community. And the fact that I had the opportunity and the blessing to be able to do all the things that I do, I have to now give back. And when I see that, I wish so many other people would have heard this conversation, because we get caught up in that mentality, like, I got mine, you know, I work hard for mine, and you can't enrich your people in that way. You got to stand up. You got to say something. You got to speak on it. And I commend every young brother and sister that do that today. And I feel like, you know, with this new presidency, the civil rights movement, that was, we made some great leaps and bounds. But Martin Luther King said it the best. He was like, yeah, we come a long way, but we got a long way to go. And it's in our face right now. It's in our face more than it's ever been. And we need people to step up, and we can't be quiet. And we got to show that we're leaders, we're kings, and warriors if we need to be.